No, that's it. All right, thank you so much, everyone. You are being recorded. Yeah, Kiipo, I think I met you for the first time in 2018. That was a hackathon organized by Figma and Ingressive. And yeah, I don't know, I think you were a judge, right? Then when we met. Or were
Yeah.
you like one of the organizers and judge as well, right?
Yes. Organizer and judge.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, that's the experience that he has, for him to sit as a judge on that particular panel with, big people, number of open tabs. So yeah, big people over there. You can see he himself is actually, well acquainted with UI UX. I don't know, that was the first time I was getting deep insight to Figma. That was the first time I actually met Figma. Was in 2018 when he was actually a judge for the hackathon. And it continued. We developed a relationship, and I think I had him to come be a Figma rep and also the speaker for an event in Navrongo. And today we are sitting here in Accra, right? So I mean, just doing huge amounts of things for the community, and has a lot going on for himself as well. So Joseph, I'll just let you introduce yourself, and then yeah, we take it away from there.
So hi everyone, it's nice to see all of you. I'm Joseph Kiipo. So I'm a UI UX designer, and I think I've been doing it for close to 8 years now. I'm just praying to God I can reach the 10-year mark. I've been doing it. So currently, I work at Informa. Okay, so Informa is a health startup. So basically, what we do is we own a whole franchise of pharmacies, and then we kind of provide solutions. So the whole goal of Informa is to making sure that the primary health care for Africans, which is normally the pharmacy, is in a condition that can easily be able to help anyone in terms of health issues that they have. So we are trying to turn pharmacies into becoming like community hospitals for Africans to actually be there. So that's basically the work I do at Informa. I'm also friends of Figma, but for some time now, because of work and other stuff, I've not been really that active. But then I'm a passionate. Yeah, I'm a passionate lover for design education. I'm interested in getting people started in design. I'm interested in talking. If you want to see me talk a lot, bring any topic about design, and you have me talking a lot for a number of hours because I'm really passionate about that sector, and also I'm passionate about the tech industry in Ghana here. And so yeah, so basically yeah, that's a bit of introduction about myself.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, we just heard from Joseph. Joseph, you've worked with a number of companies. I think I worked at Effect Studios, and then it was nice seeing you again after school. Collaborating and doing stuff with other companies like Effect Studios and co. But obviously, you've been contributing a lot to many companies and stuff like that. Maybe advising them on stuff. What are some of the things that you've noticed from these tech companies and UI UX? Like, do people really appreciate UI UX companies?
Yeah, I think when I started UI, it was appreciated in terms of and I want to talk about this in context of Ghana. Sometimes I might extend it to a little bit of Africa, but then I really want to extend it that far because but then in general, when you look at the industry, it's actually a very young industry as compared to programming and the tech, what do you call it? The tech programming industry, which has been there for quite some time now. And even when you come to Ghana, it's the same situation. So and you basically see that reflected in the number of products that we produce as Ghanaians, and then as Africans, you find out products are not really in terms of usability, they're not, you can't really use them. They can't really compete with any foreign, what do you call it, company that enters into the market. And a typical example is people have been trying to solve this what's the name, food delivery stuff for a very long time, and there's so many apps that exist in the in this country. We had show which people pivoted around something else. There are so many different apps. So Glover came into the picture, and it's like Glover is like it has been like Glover has been in Ghana for like years.
Yeah.
And you find out that that's because Glover has had the money and the resources to be able to invest in love into design, and have been able to come up with an experience that worked best. I myself say I don't see myself ordering from anywhere without, like, I even choose Glover Junior foods, like, without, the experience is quite seamless, even though there are a little bit of one or two things that doesn't work. So you see how important design is in terms of coming up with a product. It's really important. So I mean, when I got started in design, the sad part was people knew about designing, trying to make things look nice, which is just like the 10% of what design can do for you. So mostly a lot of jobs you get is people trying to say, hey, I have this app, I just want to try and put some colors and something flashy around it so that it looks nice, and then it draws out. So it's like buying a really, really nice car, but your engine is really a bad engine. Your tires are really worn out. It's like, it's just the outside that is looking very nice, but then your car is not really actually a car. It's breaking down all the time when you just try to take it out. So basically, that was the whole thing in the industry. So I think when I started it, and then I got to know that this is the extent you actually the impact you can make with design. Mostly, I started in my days when I used to be very social. And right now, at this moment, I'm not really social. In my days when I was very, very social, I used to. You could find me every tech. Yeah, you always find me every tech meetup. And I'm not there to pitch a company idea. I'm not there to sell anything to any people. But mostly, I say, hey, what are you developing? Or can I have a look at it and just give tips? Or I think you can improve it this way, improve it that way. So I've kind of touched a little bit on little apps across the way. But I basically did that because I really wanted to try and open up to people that aspect of design that they were not known to them, about how design actually improves your experience and makes your product much more better than it's making it look pretty. So yeah. It's a very big field in Ghana here. It's growing, and it's growing. What do you call it? Worldwide. You you just need to try, just like any other field. You just need to put yourself in to pay the price, and then you whatever benefit that comes along that you get it. But then UX is catching up very soon. You see that coming that have been well designed, especially I see a lot of apps that are coming from Nigeria, and you'd be so amazed about the design, the thought process coming through, the research gone into it to come up with these solutions. You have a few of them in Ghana here that are also doing that, investing a lot in employing UI UX designers to try and make sure that the experience of every app they are working on is awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah, I think what you are saying is absolutely true. And yeah, I have a mad respect for UI UX. And yeah, so we are investing a lot into our UI UX. What I keep telling my CEO and our company members is that I want our app to be a mind-blowing one, something that has never existed in Ghana, right? Because if you can pay attention to the UI UX, you can really, get to the root, and then your target market, you'll be able to fetch all that you want. I think one of the things I took from you was that when I met you the first time, you said that you do UI UX, like you did computer science in school, but then you moved from just doing computer science to focus only on UI UX. Trust me, the first time you said that to me, I was like, okay, why would you just focus on UI UX? I felt like, why don't you just focus on the tech stuff like that, right? But after years of experience, I realized that you were talking from experience yourself, and UI UX is the biggest thing that we could all focus on. So I see the relevance; it's important, and leading as a CTO, I see why this is very important for people or companies to adapt to UI UX. One of the things I think you also mentioned was that was the fact that you actually I think you attended almost all events. yeah, when we met the first time, you told me that you attend almost, many event that happens, you were found over there. So that means that that's the way, another ways that you connected with people and also learned, right? If I'm
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of have to put yourself out there. And as I said, I wasn't doing that to look for jobs. Like I wasn't looking for jobs or freelance gig or anything. There was a time I was doing a lot of freelancing, but then that was me not making the point. But I think just for the fact that I was and making the transition, as you said, I mean, right now, if I had been in the industry for like 4 or 5 years and you've come to me to try and make a transition, I wouldn't be comfortable doing that. But what really happened was I just had finished school and had gotten my first job as a front end dev in a company, and I was so excited about it. And I mean, when you finish school, you want to do everything together. So it was an opportunity presented to me, and then I and then that even leads to my story about even how I got my first job. So I started practicing UI UX. Let me say UI. I wouldn't say UX. I started practicing UX when I was in school. So in my third year, what happened was we were trying to join MTN App Challenge, the second version. Okay, we heard that somebody had won some money. We were excited about Charlie. We can do some and also go and get some dollars into our pockets. So I gathered a group of friends. That's the whole thing about how for you designer. That was a turning point. I gathered a group of friends, and we're like, want to develop this app that helps craftsmen, handicraftsmen sell their stuff online. So we call it crafting. So we're trying to look for. I had been doing a lot of, and I was like design, not like the design, like the project lead. So I was reading around. I had something like UI UX. I was like, oh, what's this? And I was like, oh, okay. But before that, I had been very, 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 very very interested about apps that look really nice. I was like, yeah, I really like apps. So I was trying to research around how to develop nice app, and then that's how the UI came into like my terms. And I was like, oh, okay, what is it? So we asked around school, and it was like someone who could do UI for us. And it's, oh yeah, let's go and see this person, because I said I was doing front end. So we went to see the person. The person was like charging us an outrageous amount of money for UI, because this was a colleague who had finished school and then was doing national service in the school. So we're like, man, like I don't think my father has that amount of money. So right now looking back, it was really serious. That was like around 2014, and somebody starting like 2,000 Ghana cedis for UI. It's really huge.
It's huge. It's huge. Yeah.
But so you remember like 2000, 2013, somebody's trying to take 20 million for. So it was really outrageous project. But I think that was the blessing in disguise. When that happened, I said no. I'll just try to do it myself. So at that time, the only tool I knew was Photoshop. So I just took it out, and I think I spent some time on it. Pinterest. I mean, the UI we had was similar to Pinterest, so I just did something, changed the colors, and showed my friends. They were like, "Whoa, this is really nice!" Like, yeah. So on my final year in school, I ended up mostly touching on everybody's UI for them. In final year, everybody was doing project. So I had a couple of, let's say a group of friends I moved around with, and we're like 4 boys. Two of them were mobile developers, and then we two were like web developers. And then one of them always used to advise me to move to UI. I should just focus on just doing UI. But at that time, I mean, Charlie, it didn't like a job you can make money out of it.
Yeah.
So the industry was really, really dry in Ghana. Yeah. So I really didn't want to take that kind of pressure for myself. So yeah. So what happened was we used to do side projects together, and I used to do the UI for them. And sometimes web, I work on the web. So a company came to the school and were like, we're looking out to hire a mobile dev and a front end and all this thing. So my friends went out for the interview. So when they went for the interview, what was happening was like when they were showing most of the apps that they had worked on, the interviews were just asked, oh, who did the UI for you? Are you the one? And they're like, oh no, it's this guy. It's part of my team. It's called Joseph. So imagine like three of your friends go into that interview and everybody's like, oh, it's like Joseph, who did the UI for you? So the people are like, oh, tell Joseph to come for the interview. So I wasn't even part of the people were going to be interviewed for the job position, but just because of my UI and trust me, it wasn't anything fancy. Like it's like you can just Google 2014 UI and you see how they look like. It's not like as we no. Okay, so I took the time and then I was like, yeah, cool. I was still with we're in the final year about writing my final exam. So I just quickly just rushed and then went for the interview and they're like, are you the one who designed this app? I said yes. I was like, okay. All right. What else can you do? And I was like, oh, I'm a front end dev actually. And I said, okay, I want to give you a job. At this. So that's how I ended up my first job. I was doing front end and a bit of design, but in the design I was doing was mostly graphic design. Okay, and I always wanna give a hands up to my first company I joined, Formaline. Formaline. I don't even know if you have heard about
Yeah,
it.
I think you mentioned it to me when we met.
I mean, it was the first company that actually gave me the opportunity to practice UI as a profession. Like
Wow.
because I was doing it and I didn't know who would pay for that. I was like, who would pay you just to come and design screens? Like, I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, am I not just a graphic designer or something? Who's always gonna
Yeah.
pay me to come and just design UI screens? So they were like, we see you spend a lot of time trying to make the UI nice, and we like what you're doing. We don't have a designer right now. Can you fill in as a graphic designer and also help? And I think at that moment they were also trying to move into the and for me, fortunately for me, the founder was also a design fan. We like design stuff. So I was like, can you just take up the role as a UI? So after my first year, I just moved straight into the role of a UI designer in the company. And
Wow.
that was it. Yeah. I
Wow.
mean, moving into that role, I actually felt that that would be the only company I can join because I was like, I didn't know where else to go or who else would give me the opportunity to come and just design screen. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you were there for a very long time, I
Yeah,
guess.
I was there for almost 5 years, and then
Wow.
later on, yeah, I was there for a very long time. I would have been there for a longer time, but then I was because I really feel like I'm indebted to them for that opportunity because I
True.
would have spent most of my time learning the front end programming language, and I've ended up being a a programmer, and then just who loves UI stuff. So. Yeah, I would have feel like I feel very indebted for them. That opportunity given for me to just do the switch, for me to realize that, yeah.
Amazing. You know, Kipo, you are an amazing person. When I met you, I felt, I think throughout my life I've been meeting amazing people. So there was no doubt, when I met you, I knew, I've met one amazing people again in my life. So people, this is Friends of Figma Accra. Here with me is Joseph, and Joseph will be taking us through UI UX. And Joseph is also a Figma advocate, and myself, and we are super excited to have all of you. We actually hope that you'll be able to take a lot away from here. Already, the human side of Joseph shared is mind blowing, and if you can pay attention to it, you definitely would be able to make careers and stuff out of it. When I met with you in Effect Studios, you obviously, I think you mentioned how much Effect Studios was paying for your work then, and trust me, it was, I think, times two of what I mean. That time I was doing my national service, but I was like a pro doing national service. So I was paid more than the national service personnel, but trust, and I saw that the engineers working there, how much they receive and how much you receive. You were receiving, lots above what they were receiving. So that tells you how much, people really value UI UX. It's a lot of money, a lot of opportunity, and we hope you all get to take a lot away from here. So Joseph, I think I wanted to just step in with your session. So I'll go on mute and then support you on in the chat, and then keep blasting up and call your attention. Thank you so much once again, Joseph. And this is Friends of Figma Accra, and you can take it away.
Yeah, so I'm just presenting on, I normally call it Design 101, which is like introduction to uh, design. So basically, these are going to be theoretical stuff, but then it's just going to give you a scope of what I have two different slides. My slides were all over the place. So sorry if I show you different slides of different designs. This is the first one, which I'm just going to talk generally about design. So and an idea of this presentation is to help encourage you if you are interested in this field. And also hopefully if you have questions after this, you can actually ask me, and I also hope that this will getting into. So the whole idea about design is people get it wrong on the first go. Like they have a different perception of what design is supposed to be, and therefore they feel like it's a very limiting field. So I just want to go on. But normally when I meet people, I'm trying to introduce them to design. I mean, you all can talk, but normally what I do is I ask them what is design, and you get all sort of questions coming up, like what design is. So for me, design is very collaborative. Everyone should be part of the design process. So what it means is design is not a one person thing. It's a gathering of a lot of people. And which what I mean by very collaborative, it means even borrowing of someone's experiences, someone's inspiration, what someone has already done, talking to other people to understand what you're doing, or even being on the same project file with someone to work on one particular project. So design is not a one-man show thing, which we normally see what is happening here. And the other field, sometimes the other fields tend to actually normally one man show where one person sits behind for DC types one like keeps on typing certain kind of things, and then at the end we see something. But the to be a very good designer, you have to be somebody who is very good at collaborating with other people. You have to always have that at the back of your mind that people should be part of whatever you are designing. Okay, so so these are some when you talk about design, these are some of the things that should come to mind. Solve problems with a purpose and involves a series of trade-off. Okay, has methods and processes. Okay, so when generally we talk about design, people are boxed into fixing up into graphic design because that's basically what they know. Okay, graphic design is just an aspect of design. UI UX design is an aspect of design. You see that, but when you're talking about generally design, the main purpose of design is trying to solve problem. Okay, so if there's anything you can take from this, and if there's anything you need to remember about design to even try to help you kickstart your career as a UI designer, it's the fact that you being called a designer is saying that you're a problem solver. Okay, so these are like the different fields you can come across. There are a lot more right now as the industry has grown. We have so many other specializations, but it's very big. We have like furniture design, graphic design, illustration, instructional design. We have like fashion design, tech design, sound design, print design, UX design, exhibition design, motion design. There's so many like the branches a lot. Just like in front end, you have like Vue.js, you have like React Native and all those kind of stuff. There's so many fields that you can actually what do you call it? Major in as a designer. Okay, so we want to take the first part of design where we say design solves problem with purpose. Okay, so design is not just how it looks, but then how it works. Okay, so most of the times um, we are drawn back to looking at it's like we are drawn to the fact of looking at how judging the like let's say the known adage which says that judging a book by a cover. So when we see something and it's a part of design which actually it makes sense. So right now, like most of the time right now, what I do is I focus most of the time like when I'm free, I focus much of my time watching documentaries. And then I was watching this very interesting documentary about human behavior, which was like they had two different people, and then one of them was a little bit not so nice, and the other one was a very nice person, like when you like nice to look at, and like they bring pictures of these different people and they ask people to try and then um, try and ask people to try and kind of like give them a prison sentence. So like both of them have committed a crime, the same crime. Sometimes even the one who is nicer has committed a higher crime as compared to the one who is not nice. But what they found out that at the end of the research, people who were not looking nice had a higher sentence than those who were looking nice. They were like people were making excuses, and I was like, so uh, design has there's an aspect of design that has to look nice because at that it's we all like nice things, and nice things are put as just like that. And I was so amazed about that research. Okay, so but that's not the end of it, just being nice. Like it's just like being a nice person and having a nice features. You're tall, you're handsome, broad shirts, all those kind of nice things. You guys, and then you have a very bad attitude. Okay, even though you're nobody will be able to stay around with you. So design is not just about how it looks. Okay, it's about how it works. So what it means is like it's a combination of two. I'm not saying drop one. So then you just come and tell me, I mean, we met this guy called Joseph and said design is not about how it looks. So Charlie, I mean, you can just do any ugly design you are going. Yeah, but then that's not what it means. But okay, but it's a combination of both of them. Okay, it has to be how it works, and then as compared to how it looks. All right. So design is problem solving, asking questions, listening, empathizing, and always seeking to improve. Okay. Or and then design is always around us. Okay. So these are the like if I'm saying these are the legs of designs, okay, it's problem solving. You have to ask questions. You have to somebody who listens. Okay, you have to somebody who empathizes, and then somebody's always seeking to improve. Okay, so I hope you all know this though. Like if I've been to a bank or a hospital or some other places, you actually see them, like they are there, and then they have like a label there that says pull. Okay, so normally, even though the handle is there, okay, this handle should at least suggest to you that you should pull. But then sometimes what happens to us, especially when entering into a shop, uh, what happens to us, the first thing we try to attempt to do, like when we meet something like this, is try to, what do you call it, push. Then when we push, we find out, hey, no, the thing is not working, and everybody inside the shop will be looking at us. It's like, who is this guy? Can't you read? It's like, and then when you're about to leave, it has push, but then the first thing that comes in mind to you is like, oh, I want to just pull, and then when you try to do that, it's like the door now is not working. It's like everybody's looking at you. So, who is this guy? Who can't you read? I don't know if any of you have had that kind of what do you call it, experience before. Okay, but it's a normal thing, and that's because even though you might have provided most of the facilities to help people go around design, the human brain has its own way of thinking, and I think it's something that I'm really enjoying watching documentaries about the human brain. It's so I mean, there's so many stuff I want to share about it. I'm excited about it. So those of you who have Netflix, instead of watching some other movies and other things, just spend your time on it. There are so many documentaries about human brains and how human behaviors are. You'll be so amazed. Okay, but the human brain already has a way of processing stuff, which is if you're moving into something, you're always obliged to push. All right, like because of your forward momentum of how you're moving. Okay, so when people get there, it's like the human brain processes like push. Okay, so what is happening is when you go outside convention, what you're doing is we call it cognitive overload. What you're giving your brain another like you're saying that, hey, um, really think about this in the game, because what you thought should be the way out is not what's happening. So that's what happens when you try to use an application and it's like you want to find a way to close a modal and there's no way to close a modal. And it's like now your brain starts to think and stress you out and say, so how do I access this thing? And it's like your only option, if you can't find a way around it, is to just close the app and then move away from it. So the brain has a way it thinks, and sometimes when it's expecting something to behave in a certain way and we go against how it's supposed to work, then it has to now rethink, like I'm not familiar with this experience. Let's relearn this whole experience again. How do you go about this thing? Like, so there's a lot of things happening in the brain, which you call cognitive what you overload. So as much as possible in design, I want to try and minimize that. We want people to easily be at home wherever they are, like when they can, oh, I'm doing this and it's moving along with whatever is happening. Okay. So the other thing is, I don't know, right now, some of these things don't exist. And if you are like 2000, you were born in 2000, you really know what I'm showing you on the screen. So on my far left, I'm showing a remote. Okay. And you see, if you've used the old remotes before, the TVs that had the outputs, like you find out that, or the TVs that had the back, what do you call it? Had a very large back. Now, flat screens, they have like just like 2 or 4 buttons. And then you are just done with. So imagine you have this set of remotes. Actually, to be frank with you, in those days, some of the TV remotes, I only knew how to use a few of them. The rest, like, I didn't know what they did, but they were all on the remote. Okay, but this is something somebody has designed. You find out that it's not really friendly. Okay, you don't like how to use it. It's very confusing. Sometimes what happens is you want to change the channel, and then you end up hitting mute. You want to forward or do something, you end up hitting a different button. So that's why if you've observed the trend of remote right now, this new TVs that we have, like TCL, the smart TVs, and all those kind of things, they have very, very minimal capabilities. Like you just have the arrow keys and some 1 or 2 buttons. All these things are not needed. Okay, and now remote have, because they found out that all these things were just trying to make the experience much more harder. Okay, and then the next thing is an elevator. So it's confusing. Like people get here, they don't know. Okay, P3 is which one is P3 sparking and all this kind of stuff. So it's just labeling, and then you have the stove here. So you see where the stove switches are. So it's like which one is for which. When I turn on this, which one is burning? And those of you have used that stove before, this is a common experience. If it's an old stove, you see this common experience. But now, currently, what is happening is they put the nuts right close to where nearest to where what's the name, the burner is, so that you can easily know. But what I'm trying to do here in showing this example is how design has been able to change the faces of all these things, and you see how design is being applied across all this. So when we talk about design, you shouldn't box yourself into looking for something on. Actually, there's so many fields in design that you can actually go for. Okay, and you actually become, even if you're a screen designer, you actually become a better designer if you're able to apply what you learn in terms of design in some of these fields and understand how they work. All right. So there's a lot of bad designs everywhere. Okay, I mean, you just I'll just try and give you that task. Just in your house, just look around. You find so many bad designs everywhere. Like I have my bathroom. You know, I can't show you my in my house. My bathroom. What happens is I should have taken a picture. It's a one-way node because it's a bathroom, so we don't. It's not like a key lock. So when you enter the bathroom, you're supposed to have the node which you turn to lock yourself inside the bathroom. Okay, so that anybody comes, it's like it's occupied. You get it? But what has happened is now the carpenter, I don't know what he was thinking about, but he has switched the node, and the node is actually outside. So when I'm inside the bathroom, I can't turn the node to, what do you call it, lock myself in the bathroom, so that anybody who's entering the bathroom cannot enter. Because I'm in a chamber of hall, so if you have a visitor, I understand what I mean. Okay, so somebody can lock me from outside. So I was like, this is really bad design. So if it's a public toilet issue, it means that you be in there and somebody will just stand and lock and you're stuck in the washroom for the rest of your time. All right. So there's a pyramid. I don't know. In school, most of us know what you call the Maslow theory of needs, the pyramid. Yeah, it's something also very used in design. And you can see like this is a pyramid of needs. Delight, beautiful, usable in terms of design, and useful and accessible. Okay, so which means that the one at the base is a basic one. If there's anything you need to fulfill, those are the ones that you need to make sure that you you are you're able to satisfy before you even actually go up to these other ones. So what happens is like basically people try to make things delightful. That is like animations, like those this and everything, but then it's not really accessible. Okay, it's really nice, but then how do I use it? Like I'm stuck. I can't close this mode. I can't go back. How do I use it? People make it sometimes very beautiful, but then it's not really provided. I have actually seen a real life application I have worked on where a client had dished it. I mean, to me, the application looks good. A client dished it for an app. Up to now, I regret seeing that app. I mean, the experience was so bad. The experience was so bad. The client was like, in terms of the new app the client was using, you see that the client was trying, anytime the client was using it, the client was getting lost. Like, but the client was so enthusiastic about this app that he had ditched our application for. And the reason being that it's functional. Do you get it? It's useful. The person feels that most of the features we've built for them was not useful. So you see, we jumped the pyramid and moved to beautiful without meeting useful and accessibility. So no matter how crappy the other app looks like, the user will go for it because it works well. And a typical example is the ECG application. It's really crappy. The experience is really bad. They don't do anything fancy, but then you can't uninstall it if you're using ECG because it's a way for you to buy credit. Okay, I can't uninstall it. I've dreamt about redesigning it a number of times, and I wish they can redesign it. And then not even just redesigning it, but just solving some usability issues, which is very simple. But then that is not happening. But I can't stop using it because it's functional for me. It's very useful for me because since I got my hands on it, I've not been able to step out of the house to go and buy credit, which is, and there are times I'm not keeping track of what is happening, and then my light goes off. I can easily buy it from my phone without stepping out. I work from home, so it's very convenient for me. It's very convenient for a lot of people. You get it? So it's usable, and because of that, I can't delete it. Okay. If there was a competitor to that app that provides that same experience and has a better experience, yes, obviously I'll ditch it for that particular experience. All right. So that's the main reason why MTN can go ahead to try and change. Say that bring your ID card for before you can withdraw your money, which is actually a bad experience. But then it's yeah, it's the fact that it's the only one around there, and I mean it's functional also as compared to some of the providers. So people just want to go ahead with that. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to read the question again. I'm just seeing. Funny enough, I've been able to identify bad design. Yeah. Yes. So yes, I mean, just take your time and look around. You see a lot of them that we see. Okay. So sometimes there's also a different level, which is ethical, which is whether it is right. You get it. And so and that is how there are a lot of websites that people use. We call them there's something design. It's not like it's even bad ethicals, but it's how we trick users to do certain things that we don't want them to do. So for as example of a dark design, you go to a page and it's like the action that they want you to continue with, like you want to close your account, you find out that, oh, the close account button is not, it's not, so in terms of hierarchy, it's very small. Or and then the button to go stay here, it's really, really, really big. Or they make the process of closing your account very, very long. So it's like it's like, okay, let me just keep the app that way instead of closing my account. Or they hide it in different stages. You have to go to like a 4-step menu to be able to find the option to close your account. That's what we call that design. Okay, but it's also ethical, which is making sure that whatever you are building is not malicious to your users, collecting data like behind the scenes. You are doing some UI stuff to trick people to collect data they are not supposed to collect. We are showing stuff to children that are not supposed to show. We are exposing them to all the things. So that's this level of ethical. It's just something that when people are using, it's safe for them to be on. Okay, so we just look at an example. So like, let's look at this a jar. It's beautiful done, but then we run this through the pyramid and we find that yes, it crosses off, it's beautiful, but then it's not delightful, it's not useful. Like, I don't know if you have hot water in this jar, I don't know how you're gonna use it. Okay, because look at where the handle is just right beneath what do you call it, where the sprout is, where the water counts are. So it's you find out that this is not a useful design. It looks nice, but then it's not really a useful design to anybody to use. Okay, and so multi TV, like you don't even look at Verizon, look at multi TV. Sometimes the capability and stuff. So it's useful, it's accessible. It's not, some of them are there. The design of the multi TV device is not so nice, but then still it's used. It works. It works fine. Nobody's gets lost on what they want to try and do. Okay, and I know there's a time when this was really popular. Right now it's not really popular. We call it a spinner. It wasn't useful. Like, it was nothing that was useful about. But yeah, it was usable. It was beautiful.
I have it here though. I have it here.
Yeah. I mean, it was beautiful. It was delightful. Yeah, but then it was accessible. But then it wasn't any. There was not like any use for it. Okay, all right. So and I think Nest, you can look at Nest. Nest is basically like they're into IoT. So basically, it's one of the first companies to be doing this kind of IoT stuff. I think in the United States. You can check them out. So they do this kind of controlling stuff from other stuff, thermostat and all those things. And all the devices they have is, you know, companies have design stuff. Okay, so you see, it's able to meet all these criteria. It's delightful. What you're looking at is nice. It's beautiful. It's usable. You can see the analog thing to try and then move your fingers around to increase whatever your air condition or whatever, and it's accessible also. Okay, so this is trying to meet all the pyramid needs that we have. Okay, so sometimes people can ask the question, what's the difference between art and design? Okay, so this is a comparison of what art does and then design. So when you see art is always asking a question. Okay, so when you see an artwork, yeah, what is this? That's what you ask yourself. Easy and like and design goes to a point of answering questions. So looking at the design of anything should be able to give you a question to a problem. Okay, so when I take, as a for instance, the design of ECG app is solving the problem of me, the convenience of staying in my house and then just buying what do you call it, credit. Okay, the other thing about art is interpreted. So what it means is like there's no one meaning to an art. That's why somebody can do something, the people do scratch the thing on the wall and tell you that, this is showing the chaotic moment of my mind and stuff. And you look at the explanation people give to some of the art things, they do like, oh, we don't get it. but as it's interpreted, what it means that everybody can interpret it to what they mean. So I can come look at it and say, oh, this looks like a moon. Somebody comes, no, this looks like the sun. Like, it's interpreted, but design is understood. Okay, so what it means is like what design is bringing you to a point of trying to understand one singular point. So it doesn't make sense if a user is having a different understanding of what solution this person is providing, this app is product is providing as compared to analysis. It brings on to like a uniform understanding. Okay, process is optional. Like art, like sometimes people tell you that they were emotional and they started drawing something and it came out. There's no process to it. Okay, they don't do any kind of, there's no process. Okay, design has rules. There are a lot of rules governing design. Okay, you find them. I think that was the next. If we have more time, we'll go to that slide. I think my time is almost up. We'll go to that slide. But then design has rules. We have the laws of UX design. So art, different taste, opinionated. So art is by different taste. So like nobody can come and say, oh, this thing is not nice. For somebody likes it. So it's just about different taste. But design is opinionated, which means like people have an opinion about it. Everybody can say something about it. You can't say that it's my taste, not my taste. Like people can have an opinion about it and say what they want to say about it. So art is inspired and then inspires one another, and the design is often very invisible. Okay. So between art and design, there's a field that we call the graphic design. So graphic design is actually the bridge between that gap with art and design. Okay, so which is like trying to the sweet spot between these two sides. That's why sometimes when you see graphic design stuff, they look very wild, they look very artistic. Like a very good graphic design will do something and you'll be amazed. Okay, but that's because it's always between that sweet spot of what design is and what art is. So that's where like graphic design comes out of the coin. Okay, so let's look at design involves trade-offs. So sometimes what it means is so basically these are the two circles that comes together to form design. So what we have is form and then function. Okay, form is basically how it looks, and then function is basically how it works. Okay, so to be able to produce any product that is very good, you have to be able to find yourself within the intersection of these two sweet spots, all right? So let's take, for instance, let's look at these two chairs. Okay, we have form. This chair is, I don't know how you're going to sit on this chair, a chair that has crossed the leg. And then you have function. This chair has existed for a very long time. It's very bulky. I think if you start, they're really nice to sit in. I sat in one some time ago, not the middle one, the intersection, but the one to my extreme right. And they're really nice. They rock you. You feel very comfortable. Some of them massage you as well, and all. It's really good. So coming together to form that sweet spot of form, something looking very aesthetical, pleasing, and there's something working very well. It's what we have in the middle. Okay, so when you look at the design of this chair that we have, of this product that we have, it looks very nice to have. Like you want to own it because it looks very nice, and you can also see that it's very functional. Like it's giving the same feel of attention that you will have gotten as compared to the one you have gotten on your right. Okay. And let's look at this also. So they are now taking this into like product design itself. So you can see we have form here and you have function. And I mean, that being said, if you already are into design and you're into dribble, so one of the things that's happening is a lot of dribble designs are forms. I mean, they're very hard to implement, very hard to use in terms of interactions, but the people that don't know it go and copy. So the right to your left could be like which is a form, but in terms of usability, it's going to be very hard for people to use. So the one to the right is function, but I mean, it's not so appealing. I mean, it looks like someone who is just now learning how to program in Android. Okay, but it's very straight to the point. It's simple, but you don't get delighted by it and all those kind of stuff. All right, so bringing all those two into the middle, you have that sweet spot where you have something like thing that you see, you still have the option to close and love, and the name of the person counts, and all those kind of the important details are shown here. You can easily do all this kind of stuff. Okay, so basically, when you're designing a product, that's what you have in your mind. Okay, you should be looking at form and function and making sure that you're having that into that sweet spot. So most of the good products you have been able are very good at establishing themselves in that sweet spot that have that intersection. So they are able to wow you at the same time. So they're able to help you do whatever you need to do. All right. So this is also just an example. Because of time, I just wanted. And then also there's another design paradox, which is familiar versus new, which is, I mean, it's good to have new stuff, but as I said, the human brain is very, very tricky. Okay, it's one of the things I think if you have the chance, research and like invest in just watching videos about the human brain. The human brain is good at just memorizing stuff, important muscle memories. So what it means is it's able to see certain things and the brain will react before you think. So at that moment, what it means is your brain is not even going through a normal process of thinking. It's just what we call muscle memories. Yeah, for instance, like drummers, instrumentalists, these are, you see this kind of skills are playing instrumentalists. Most of them are not thinking when they are playing. What they are doing is just muscle memory, and that's because they've been doing it for a number of times. So their brain has been hardwired to create like a way of thinking that when you see this, do this. So they are sometimes some of them are playing their clothes, they're enjoying it, and then everything, they're enjoying whatever they want to do. So it's just about the brain being hardwired in such a way to have that kind of form. Okay, that's how some people, when you go on TikTok, some people are doing stuff and it's like, oh, I'm wild about what this guy is doing. The guy is not really thinking about what it looks very dangerous, looks very difficult to do. Or some of these people have been so for a long time, so the brain has been trained in a way that don't think to do that. And that's how powerful our brains are. Okay, so when the brain always comes and then sees something that's very new, it now has to now be learned, like it's like how to learn this new thing again. It's just the same. If you know AI, it's just the same thing like as AI is doing and everything. Okay, so it's very important to be able to also have that match if you have something new or something very familiar. So that's why it is people say a lot of design looks alike nowadays. Most website looks alike nowadays. There's always a big hero, and that's because that's what people are familiar with. People, and it's trying and tested. People are used to this research. People are used to finding the call to action on the hero page. Why would you move your call to action to the bottom of the page? Some people just get to the hero page and not continue because they can't find what they want to find. People are used to see an X as being a close button. So why would you use an X to be a positive action? Okay, so people are, and these are things that people are familiar with. So what you do in terms of design is you leverage up around what people are familiar with. And if there's any kind of new things you have to make sure they are matching very well and find yourself in this sweet spot. Okay, so for instance, when we for a very long while, I mean, if we are very old, I'm not saying I'm very old, but then you find out that systems had what you call it, DOS, Microsoft DOS. Let me just, if you've heard of Microsoft DOS before, if you're born in 2000, you will not know what Microsoft DOS is. But then Microsoft DOS is like just blank. You just need to be typing. It's like how the programmers work. When you visit a programmer, that's black space, a lot of text. So that's how people used to use computer in the past. Okay, and then people started working on GUI, that is graphic user interface, where we have the icons and stuff. So you find out that across Mac OS, Windows, most of these things are mimicking real life stuff. Okay, so for instance, you have the save icon being at this the diskette that we have. So I hope you all seen a diskette before. So the save icon looks like a diskette. You see the folder looks like a normal hand file folder, and those kinds. So what people are just trying to do, they are trying to mimic real life, what do you call it, elements, and then translating them into the product. So sometimes you don't even need to know what the description is about. As soon as you see, you just can easily align this to what you use it to do in the real life. Okay, so like the trash bin is for something that you don't need. So as soon as I see that, yeah, trash bin is like, this is a trash. Like I'll put things I don't need over there. But you want to go the other way and say your trash bin is where you save stuff. You'll be misguiding your users, and your save icon is where you actually trash them. You'll be misguiding your users because it's not familiar to them. You get it. So that's the issue that happened with Snapchat when it came at first. When Snapchat came out, there was a whole internet buzz around. It's not usable. People didn't like it. It took people a long while. Like it took old people a long while to get onto Snapchat because Snapchat was out of the convention of how to interact with mobile apps. We're using a lot of gestures, which people were not really accustomed to. So especially Android users were not accustomed to. So people found the experience very difficult. There were not buttons that go back and those kind of things. People found it very difficult to use. So people had to now relearn the process because they liked it to be able to use it. Okay, but good design has to be able to make that too. The way there's new versus old, familiar altogether. Okay, that's the same way when you meet certain application, you want to just display a credit card, they show you how the image of the credit card looks like, just to make sure that you get the association that, oh, they're talking about your Visa card or anything. Right. So you find out that in Pascal, like people have leveraged on like what's already existing. So I don't know whether you know. I think it's called Bloom. It's one of it's most of Apple's, when Apple's came out, most of their design were actually inspiration gotten from it. Okay, so this so when the iPod came up, you see this is their radio, and that is how the iPod looks like. When the Mac Apple iMac came in 2017, they had a similar. It's not like they didn't exist, already exist. People had designs over there. You see, what do you call it? The MacBook, the Power Mac Pro with the Bloom radio. Like you can see how Apple was leveraging on, and this was a very good brand that existed during that time. How Apple was leveraging on what was already from people were familiar with, as compared to what people are new with. So that's the main reason why you see you go through applications and you find certain things that are the same across what do you call it, different apps. For instance, the sign out button looks like the off button on your PC or your TV or a lot of things. They have the same icon. That's that circle with a dash in it. It's because of that kind of paradox that we have. Okay, and then somebody will say emojis. Like, so that's what I keep telling people. I mean, people feel design like design is the good thing about design. Design is always revolving around how things already exist and just incorporating something. We were talking about emojis and stuff, yeah. But for in doing the Egyptian style, like emojis existed when people were using some of these icons to just people used to write or pictography. So writing words, we're using like icons and then a little bit of pictures of things to try and symbolize what they mean. So emoji is not like a new trend that has happened. It is something that existed in the old and people were used to using it. But then that's a combination, a good combination of old versus new. All right. So I mean, some of these things that these are just still talking about it. So, and this is how sometimes you be looking at combining inspirations when you're working on design. Okay, looking at something that's familiar with people and then bringing up your own ideas. Okay, like for instance, what you see here, you see how they have the patterns showing here and how they've been the person has been able to combine it to have it in this kind of template. Okay, you wouldn't even know that, oh, like this is the person's inspiration is coming from here. All right. So let me just move on. Design has methods. So basically, this is what it looks like. Uh, this is how my normal work day looks like, which means that I do discovery. There's a part called discovery, define, development, and then deliver. At a much time, we'll go into some of these things later on. So we have research, you synthesize, you ideate, and then you implement it. So we have the part of design, which is strategy, designing the right thing, and then you have the execution, designing things right. Okay, so strategy is all about talking to users, making sure that you are framing the right questions, you are solving the right, which is really important, solving the right question problem. Okay, at times what we do is people end up what do you call it, solving the wrong problem because they're asking the wrong questions. So you go through your life cycle for some time and then it's like the problem you should be solving is how to make A and B, but then the problem you're actually solving is D and what do you call it, F. So what it means is getting your problem statement right. If you get your problem statement right, obviously the solutions that you'll be coming up will be very right. It's like if you ask me a wrong question, I'll give you a wrong answer. So if you intended to ask me about my age and you ask me how long I've worked for, they're not the same. Okay, have my age and how long I've worked for are not the same, unless you want to tell me I started working when I was in my mom's womb, which is not impossible. Okay, which is impossible. You get it. So asking the right questions in terms of design, which is the research part, okay, discovery, is what leads to having a better execution. All right. I just want to move through because our time is over. So and so these are some of the things. I'm just trying to give you a general scope of what happened in terms of UI UX design. So these are some of the sample activities. You have competitive research, you have interviews, you have surveys, you have data analysis. So there's a part where design works so much with data. People didn't know that. Like people like good design is with data. So you have this big company spend so much money on data. That's the main reason why Facebook is able to present a certain design at a certain point. And it's like, oh, this feels so very nice to me. It's because they have enough data about what you are doing. They've been able to profile you to a certain level, and they know that okay, this is what might work for this particular user. This might work for this particular users. So that's the main reason why they have their like button positioned a certain way. That's why when you go through e-commerce, they have their check-in flow like in a specific step. They have the button somewhere because there's enough data they've gathered around that to know that oh, this is if you place your checkout button here, it has like 90% conversion rate. If you place yes, like 50%. So there's data backing a lot of this design decision. Okay, which people don't know. People feel like design is just about drawing rectangles and putting them there. UI design is about drawing rectangles and putting color. No, these are all database stuff that you always have to use. So I'm just giving you a general scope. I got to know about this during part of my career, but then when I got to know how to now try to what do you call it, apply it, competitor analysis, like trying to look at what your competitors are doing, what are they doing well, what are not doing, what are doing bad, and how you can improve upon that with your design. And then you have interviews, which is basically talking to people who are going to use your project to try and see, oh, like what would this actually solve your problem for you? How you want us to solve it? Like it's basically interviewing whoever is going to use your product. So there are a lot of these things that come, and then normal survey. Okay, so that's for the discovery. We have define. So I mean, define is when you come back yourself, you brainstorm and you ideate. So you have like there's so many activities like dot voting is having a lot of ideas and letting people trying to dot like vote on which ideas are the ones you should go ahead with, which one you shouldn't go ahead with. You have product specs and goal documentation, sketching and onboarding, storyboarding, then product reviews, problem alignment. Like you don't need to be doing all this. These are like it means one of them goes, one of them does not go. So after you be able to understand the problem, interview your users and all those kind of things, so the next step you move is trying to ideate upon the problem that they say they're having and what they thought would be the solution to make sure that what solution you are providing is actually going to solve that problem that is present for them. So you can use any of this to try and come some of the activities to come up with a problem and come up with solutions. Okay, then we have the development, which is basically what most of us know, working in sketch files, wireframes, flows, site maps, high fidelity prototypes. So basically, this is where you can see that before you get here, just develop before you get here, ideation, define, discovery has to happen. Most of the time, what people do is they cut this and move directly to three. Okay, and when that's that we call you a UI designer because then most of whatever you are building is not based on any decision, it's not based on any research. It's like you're just doing that of your own mind. You're just designing for yourself. You're making a lot of assumptions, okay, which might be very, very bad for your users. Okay. Then the last part is execution, which is like after it's been you can just user test it, final specification, create, and then develop. So these are activities that happen. That's most of this happening in my life, doing my work. Every day I go to work. Yeah, days I'm doing user testing, the days I'm doing create. Create is just about showing your final work to your colleagues, and then they try to tell you what is wrong, which is not wrong, what you can improve, what is possible, is not possible. Especially developers, they'll tell you what you can do and what they can do. Yeah, and then finalization is basically specking things out for people, those who are going to develop, to be able to know, oh, this font is 20 pesos, so it's 20 pesos when being implemented. So this is how the life cycle of a UI UX designer looks like. Okay, yeah. So any question? I thought I had enough time to move on to the next one, but then that's not possible. Yeah.
This is so beautiful, like massive presentation there. And yeah, can you please talk about the critics?
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know, but design 50% of design is taking feedback. Okay, and before I continue, I just want to give a shout out. So this slide was not prepared by me; it was prepared by Figma. I think it was a Figma community slide, and I just used. I think important, and I just used it because I feel like what was already there was very cool. But then what I mean by great is so people don't know that design is mostly 50% feedback. All right. So what it means is the good designs you have there has had like a lot of people critique it. Like they said, this is not good, take it out. Like this is bad, improve it. This is wonderful. You get it. So create sessions we have with our teams. Sometimes it can be users themselves, but mostly what happens is with a team we are working with. So other designers, developers, stakeholders. So stakeholders are different from users. So stakeholders are not directly affected by your app, but they are involved in it. Okay, so stakeholders, so they come, you present your idea to them. This is what the solution you are providing to solve this problem for them. And then they can tell you that this will work, this might not work, this doesn't look good, change it this way. So that's what we call design crate. Okay, so that's session where you actually listen to feedback and then apply feedback to. Let me tell you, we really want to enter into this field. Just make sure that you have a very hard bone to take hard comments, because not everybody knows how to give a constructive feedback. So some of them might hurt you, but never take them personal. Always see them as ways to improve. Yeah, there's some feedback that comes. It doesn't. It's not even important, but people just say it. I mean, just nod your head and say, "Yeah, we'll go ahead. We'll look into it." Yeah, but design is 50% feedback. You should be able to take feedback. You shouldn't be someone people cannot come to you for feedback, and you don't need to defend everything. Sometimes, even if you have a good defense, just keep quiet and listen to what people are saying. That's what makes you a good designer. Someone who's able to listen and then give feedback.
Amazing. So please go ahead and ask your questions. We are just wrapping up. I think someone said, is it Barbara? Oh, yeah, said she has a question. Yeah. Okay. Will we have to always take the feedbacks from customers while they are more based on aesthetic than functionality?
So, so yeah, I think I had this question. I was doing a mentorship with someone, and this question came about. You see, users, as I said, like users for instance, if you own a car, you don't interact with your engine. Do you get it? Like you don't go early in the morning, open your engine and try to see what is wrong with your engine. Most of us even don't know how it works. Some of us even don't know how we change that, or your car oils are changed, or your phone. Let me say, or your phone. You don't wake up early in the morning and open your phone to see how your motherboard looks like. Okay, you just open, take your phone and start using it. So most of the times, users use your interface. That's the only thing that they come in contact with. Okay, it depends on how you present your prototypes or whatever you want feedback on to the user. If I come in and a user does not know what user experience is, okay, they don't know, like they just know that I can use this, is easy for me to use and this is not easy for me to use. So what happens is, if I come in and present the user with a static screen and then say, oh, is this, can you use this? Obviously they will say yes, and if it's looking very nice, they'll say, oh, this looks nice, I mean, I can use it. How you get feedback from users, normally what we do is we call that user research. It's quite different from crates. Users are not normally part of it. It's called user experience. What you do is, as much as possible from your point of view, try to emulate a live scenario of how the app will work. So when users are using it, what they are doing is they're actually using the experience of the app. So they are clicking on the button to move to the next screen. They are clicking on a text area. They are clicking on a card view to open something. So in what we are doing that way, it's not just they looking at how nice it is. It is like, oh, if I click on this, I move to this place. If I want to come back, I click on this and they can tell me, oh, this is usable. I can actually use it. It's easy to use. That's what basically they will tell you. But if you even for me, if you present me with a screen that is just one screen design and say, oh, I'll tell you it's nice, and that's the only feedback I give you. So the problem with feedback from customers is how we present the product to them. If we provide static screen to them, it's not prototype, it's not interactive. I mean, they don't know what user experience is about, so they can't tell you that, oh, the hierarchy you are using is bad, so change the hierarchy. Your bathroom is behind it, affordance is wrong. They just know the experience is good, the experience is bad. The only way you can give an experience is when somebody is able to interact with the product. I don't know if that answers your question.
Awesome. I mean, that's a great reply there. Barbara, you can comment if that answers your question. I think another question from Emmanuel. Emmanuel has been super interactive in the chat. He's asking, what in your view goes into making a great design that your users would want to use? On paper, what is a bad design? Some of us don't have the eye. I remember making a flyer. One designer didn't like the font. I went with the one for the template use though. So I was surprised to hear him say that. So what in your view goes into making a great design? That's your
to be in this time and age of my career, a great design has nothing to do with how it looks for me. Okay. But for me, basically how it's being used or how it's able to communicate whatever you want to communicate. Okay, so as I told you about, graphic design is a bridge between art and then what do you call it, design itself. So yes, graphic design is mostly criticized by how it looks, like mostly, but good graphic designer go the extra step of tricking the user to the most important information on the flyer. Okay, if you ask me, a UI designer, to do a graphic design for a flyer for you, it might look, it might not look so nice, but it works. I get it. I can communicate the information out there quickly for people to know what, but it will not look like a normal graphic designer's work. Okay, so what I always take when I talk about design is it able to achieve its goal?
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, but as I said, you see, we are very human, and then we are moved to things that are nicer as compared to things that are not nice. We actually achieve things that are nicer to be very authentic, right, as compared to things that are not nice. So you also need to invest a little bit of time into it. But then if the font is good, I mean, it's still nice, it's visible, people can see it from afar, it's communicating what you want to do, the spaces and everything is right. I mean, Indeed, the problem with design is sometimes because we are also not able to defend why we are using certain things. People are also able to tell you that I don't like this. So if someone says I don't like this button, and you are not able to say, oh, this button is of this size, it's of this color, it's because people will be reading from afar. And we don't like, for instance, using a yellow color, a very bright yellow color on an app that's going to be using the sun. Okay, like it will be reflective. You cannot see, so that's why we're using this color, which is a darker shade of the yellow and those kind of. So it's much more about being able to, because sometimes when you're pitching your idea, your final solution, if you have done your research very well, it's more like pitching an idea to whoever is you are creating or getting the feedback from. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So I think I will just pick some quick questions here. So we just wrap up from there. So apart from feedback, what else can we use to know it's a good design?
So what I think we call it, we call it success metrics. Okay, that's a little bit of high end stuff. Just basically it's tracking behind the scene how a certain design you worked on is doing. Okay, so Google Analytics has a bit of it. Okay, for instance, if you do a marketing page, when I say a marketing website, I mean like let me see. I want to see an app that is very popular. Like let's say Bezo Money has a marketing website. So basically, what it means when you go, that's the first website you see. It sells what Bezo is doing. Okay. Yeah. So if Bezo is seeing like a drop off or bounce off rate like 70%, it means their design is not working.
Yeah.
What it means is if 100 people are visiting the website, 70 of them are not continuing. As soon as they visit the website, they just leave the website. So it means that the marketing page is not working. So that's a design success metrics, and that should tell you that your design is not working. So come and check something that is really wrong. Okay. So normally when we do in your life cycle as a designer, when you get to a certain level, what we do is a success metric. So we see, oh, the marketing page, how many people have clicked sign up? And we see, oh, we had like 100 people come in, 20 of them click sign up. So it means there's something, our sign up button is not working as we want, or we're not communication, the communication, our message is not being communicated well. So then we say, okay, so normally what we do is we just set metrics. What we do is something, we say that, okay, we want to have like 10% bounce rates. So if we are not meeting that metric, it's like, oh, there's something wrong. Let's go back to the design and figure it out. So it's just by what we call success metric. All right.
Absolutely. So this is actually a great insight. It's practical. It's so useful. We do this all the time. So I think any recommended resource for starters to use? I think Regina, is it Barbara? Okay, Barbara said UI UX design is more about interactive activity. Graphic design is based on view, like what is attractive by our eyes. Okay, that's just a comment Barbara added there when someone mentioned about graphics. So any recommended resources for starters to use?
Well, I mean, the sad part is I'm a self-learned designer. So when people ask me about resources, I'm confused because I learn from a whole lot of, I learn a lot from YouTube. I read a lot of, so some of you saw my, I like to share. So some of you saw my tab and you're like, hey, early morning, this stuff. Because let me see. I read a lot. Anything I'm working on, I try to, let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, one thing I notice you do too is, watch a lot of, movies that give you the design perspective and design ideas. Like you mentioned about Netflix.
Yeah. So I mean, let me see. Like I'm learning about something new. So most of what I have here is all like reading stuff. I'm reading. I use Medium a lot. I don't know if you know Medium. I even used to have a premium versions. Right now my money has finished, so I don't have. But then I have a Medium. I have a premium version, and I just go there to just read design articles. So this morning, I just woke up this morning. I because it's Saturday, I just came and I glanced through this. I see something that's very interesting. I want to learn about design data beyond dashboard, and I click on it and I just read about it. Like there's someone here that says, "Oh, form inputs redesign." Cool. I want to know what the person's talking about. So it's much more about reading a lot. Okay. I spend a lot of time also looking at what people are doing. So that's like, I look at other people's app. Like I know so many applications. I spend a lot of things around other people. So I just come like I found this out recently. Cowdy Invest. I was just looking at them. I took a look at what they were trying to do. Look at their marketing page, how their things are aligned. they have a nice image here, where do they have a big button here? Just like, so what I'm doing is I'm just building what I call my visual taste, and also trying to get accustomed to what people are doing. Okay, then
Awesome.
I go ahead. If you come to, if I show you my phone right now, my phone is full of apps I don't use. Okay, I'm not a phone person. I'm not a phone person. If you're trying to get me on call, it's very difficult. Because I'm behind my PC, sometimes I have WhatsApp open, but then I'm not a phone person. But I have so many apps. Okay, so and that's because I'm trying to see what other people's experience. So I learn by looking at what people are doing. Okay, one resource I'll give in terms of learning, in terms of being able to material design is very cool. Okay, I didn't used to like it, but then as I was going along there, I found that it's very, very important. So they have a lot of resources over there about design. So just spend your time on the material.io in terms of web applications and also mobile app. So they have, you can learn a lot from there. What do you call it? I
Okay.
yeah, I also have the same similar thing that you can also use in terms of how to learn. Uh, I'll give you this. It's called Kimoyo. So basically, I don't know whether they are open right now. I will just want you, if you are interested, you can just sign up to them. They teach people design. They have it's a fellowship. They teach people very design. It's an African-based fellowship. Teach people design. You can sign up to them. And then they will take you through a full class of design, become product design. So uh, it's called kimoyofellowship.org. It's a very good foundation. I would advise, like, they have very cool places you can actually learn from. These are very good. Kaiwa is a very good product app. Like, I really like it. I have it on my phone, but then because I really like it. So there are a lot of designers over there that will help you. Times they'll teach you, bro, and all this kind of. So if you're interested in getting started in this field, I would advise you to sign up to Kimoyo. I used to also have a startup that uh, was teaching design, but right now, because of life, it's on hold
Right.
for right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we used to be called the Design Hub. We used to teach design. We already had a fair. Uh, right now, it's a little bit on hold right now. So will redirect you to go to Kimoyo because they have a very good. And then they can you get very good resources. The other one uh, um, I will show you is what I call it ADP list. Okay, I don't know whether you guys have heard about it. So this is a great
Yeah. I
resource.
think
It's like it's been very difficult for people to get mentorship across like different like I'd had when I joined, I had an opportunity of joining like a meeting by very, very senior designers who have been in the field for a very long time across the world. Some of them in the United States, working with Twitter, like different companies. Okay. So I would advise you to sign up to ADP list. There's so many great designers that you can have as a mentor. You can book a session with them, and then I'm also there as a mentor, so you can also book a session with me. The other Ghanaians also who are there as you can, and then you can learn. I'm always learning from here. Like there, any time of my career, I want to do something. I'm not. I just come here and look for somebody who is very good at there. Like you see, there's a senior interaction designer at Google about interaction designer. I'll just go ahead and book this person up for a mentorship session to person to train you. Okay, like I'm really sorry. I'm a self-learned person, so most of these things I might not give you. I think most of the tools I used in terms of learning are paid. I don't know. One is the interaction design.
awesome.
Interaction.
Awesome. So I think Joseph is looking at showing you one more. Um,
Okay.
so you can
So
see
yeah,
Joseph is scattered across resources.
yeah, yeah. That's because I mean, uh, you, I don't know how to put it. You can do a paid lesson. I will tell you, you can do a paid lesson, but the meat of design is user experience, and that's gotten by you taking your time to learn some of these things on your own. Like you can learn this place is a good design for user experience. You can go on YouTube to get a lot of just type UX design. You have a lot of videos you can watch for to understand what it is, and then just practice them. That's it. Yeah. But then I'll just advise you to just join Kimono. Figma also has a learn design. So Figma also have learn design. Figma learn design.
Okay.
Okay, you
Awesome.
can.
Awesome. So I'm just going to read a couple of comments here. I think you can showcase the Figma and design, and after that, I just read a couple of comments we have here.
Yeah, Figma learning design. Yeah, so there's also another resource you could try to come in and yeah, a lot of listens here. That will help you. All right.
Amazing.
So yeah.
So I'm looking at someone is saying, someone is asking, I think, where was that? He said, okay, speaking about YouTube quickly, which channel has he subscribed to or follow? Do you remember any name? I'm not sure.
All
Okay.
right now, my YouTube is quite messy because funny videos and anime. But then
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't like I have Figma here. Let me just show you some of the people I've subscribed to. I have Figma. This guy is also from Figma. It's called Joey Banks. He does Figma stuff. Figma channel is also a very good resource. Um, FemK, like this FemK design, she's also a very good resource. She works at Uber. I learned a lot from her. So this is also one person you can follow. Just seeing what else. I watch a lot of things. So I actually even do interior. I watch a lot of things. I get inspiration for a lot of things. Like this is just like interior design. Uh, coming. This guy is for illustration. AJ Smart is also a very good place to learn. They are good in design sprints. I also spent some time over there. Um,
Awesome.
I'm just trying to go through.
A couple of them.
Yeah, I have Adobe Creative Cloud. We also do a lot of in terms of graphic design and other stuff. You can find them. There's so many videos you can learn from there. And then there's Google Venture. It's also very good. I think you should subscribe to Google Venture. There's a lot of stuff you can learn. Especially if you're trying to start your own startup. Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm there. I'm trying to find one. There's one lady I want you guys to subscribe to her. She's called what's her name? Oh, I'm trying to find her. Sorry. Okay, she's here. So I'm coming. Yeah, Future Academy. So it's also a great resource. Especially those involved in graphic design. It's gonna be, and then also you are interested in the business of design. It's a great place for you to actually learn from. UX Mastery is also very great place. Oh, I can't find Charlie. Oh, the person I'm trying to show you guys. Yeah. So Charlie Marie TV. She's one person I've followed since I started design. I'll tell you the truth. I'm a serious follower of her. I've learned a lot from what she does. Her workflow. I've been watching her videos since the first day I started design. She's one of the people I started watching her videos. Okay. And then we also have Flax Academy. Those of you interested in workflow and web design stuff, it's also a good place to learn from. Yeah. So those are some of the YouTube channels I'll advise you to sign up to. There are many more, but because of time, yeah, this one is.
Awesome. This is amazing resources. Like we've shared from personal experience, how Joseph began with design, some of the interesting people he has worked with, and then how design is valued. And we've explained UI UX. He shared so much and so many resources with you guys. This has been a lovely session. I think if you can just share comments. Have you actually learned a lot from this session? Put it in the chat. Follow Joseph Kiipo on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and co. My name is Dawoodiddris as well. You can follow me anywhere on the internet, Dawoodiddris. I'm just going to read one last comment here. I think any comment, okay, resource now, we followed that already. You can also start Googling design daily challenges. Okay, so Barbara has been very active here as well. Regina, I can't keep calm. We look to make more money so we can buy Bezos shares. Yeah. I mean, stay tuned for IPO. We need to look more dividends. I'm looking for opportunity to assist UI UX designer trainer on their training just to build and improve my teaching skills. That's awesome, Barbara. Let's stay in touch. So here is Figma Accra. And please join our WhatsApp group. We'll try as much as possible to make it interactive. Myself and Joseph, we are like so busy, but we really love to help out. So just join the group and then ask questions. Joseph have been, super interactive over there if you ask questions. We will try to, make sure that every month we have like at least 1 or 2 sessions for you guys. Today was, introduction. We'll follow up with some design sessions with Figma. I can't promise you it's going to be Joseph because Joseph is super busy, but we will see. I look forward for an opportunity. Nice. Do you know she has comments? Okay, I'm just trying to read out some quick one to wrap up. No, I don't know her, but I'm glad to. Okay, yeah. All right, cool. Give me training and bezel coins to help. How can we join the WhatsApp group? All right, so I'm going to shoot out email to all of you who joined today so that you will be able to get a link to join the WhatsApp group. Other way is that I can put my number out there because it's already on the internet. It's 024-988-7299. If you WhatsApp me, I'll share a link with you. But it's been really great having Joseph here with insightful resources and then session that he's given. Joseph, thank you so much for making time. I know we've taken a lot from you, but it's wonderful to always do this with you.
All right. Okay, guys.
Okay. So your last word?
So yeah, so just hit me on LinkedIn. Right now I'm off Instagram. I've been off for some months, so if you try to get to me Instagram, I might not be responsive. So hit me on LinkedIn. You can also book a mentorship session with me on Dawoodiddris. So yeah.
Awesome. Book your mentorship sessions on ADB. Is it Adapt List or something? ADB List or something. Yeah, I think I've not been able to memorize the name. Yeah, but thank you so much. You can follow us on the internet. So it's been good. It's Joseph Kiipo here, and my name is Dawoodiddris. Here is Figma Accra, and thank you so much for joining. Enjoy your day, and thank you so much, Joseph. Joseph just shared a link for you to be able to book a session, and yeah, thank you. Stay safe.